Beauty is a tool, and it has the power to change your life. That's because beauty provides the same choice and opportunities as money. You can attract better career opportunities, better spouses and partners, all because of how much you pour into yourself. Because when people see that you pour into yourself, they are inclined to come pour into you. People want to help those who help themselves. That's essentially what it is. Unfortunately, this society and large portions of the world are still ran by vanity. The best is usually dispersed to the people who look the best or the people who can contribute the most. If you can't contribute much of anything, meaning if you don't have a lot of money, if you don't have a lot of resources, your appearance can get you into places that large sums of money would usually get other people. If you are someone who is not privileged in the financial sense, I would approach beauty from a business perspective. Do not get caught up in vanity, because that is how you get exploited, that's how you get used, and that's how you put yourself in dangerous situations. Once you actually understand how lucrative beauty is, you'll begin to incorporate it into your life naturally. It won't feel so much like a chore, but more like an opportunity to create a better situation for yourself, for your family.
The girl that went on Oprah, she was a certified Mensa genius. She was super successful, and she looked like a Barbie doll. Blonde hair, beautiful, super skinny, dressed in all pink. And Oprah asked her, she said, if you had to give up your looks or your brain, which would you give up? And she said her brain. And the reason that she said her brain was because she said that her looks have gotten her further in life than her brain ever had. This woman is a genius. And I wish I could remember her name so y'all could go look this interview. But humans are programmed to like people that we think are attractive. This is simple science. This is biology. This is a unconscious bias that we cannot control. If someone is attractive, you are more likely to like them and you are more likely to trust them. If you don't believe that this is human nature, just look at kids. Kids all gravitate to the cutest kid on the play. Teachers unconsciously give the cuter kids in class more attention. Men want pretty women around them. Other women want other pretty women around. Your response to a man coming up and trying to talk to you is going to be drastically different if he is fit and attractive than if he is ugly and overweight. And this is why I get so annoyed when people get on these apps and complain about pretty privilege. Pretty privilege exists because we are biologically programmed to like people who are attractive. Pretty privilege is never going to go away, no matter how much you educate yourself or fight against. This is very much an if you can't beat them, join them type of game. I wholeheartedly believe that there are very few ugly people in this world. The vast majority of us have access to pretty privilege if we want it. Now, beauty standards go in and out. They change depending on where you're located in the world or the period of time that we are in. But for the most part, we all know what the societal standards of beauty are. And whether or not we live up to those standards is actually more in our control than a lot of people. Now, there are some people who are so strikingly beautiful that they can just get on the internet, post a video of themselves basically standing there and get famous and rich. But that is really the only type of pretty privilege that you either have to be born into or pay a lot of money to have surgery to get. But your standard everyday pretty privilege of people just liking you because of the way you look is accessible to pretty much everybody. And the sooner you realize that and embrace that, the sooner you can take advantage of it. I work out to be healthy, yes, but the main reason I work out is because I want to look. And you can call that vain, but the reality is the world is a vain place. But luckily, we all know that. We all know the rules of the game. And regardless of how you feel about the game, because yeah, it's exhausting to constantly have to keep up your appearance. And you can choose to play by the rules or you can choose to ignore. And everybody needs to do what is best for them and whatever is going to make them the happiest. But if you choose to ignore the rules, then you can't complain at the negative side effects that come with, because at the end of the day, it is a lot of work and it is a lot of effort to maintain the way you look and make sure you're going to the gym consistently and eat healthy and dress right and do your makeup right and make sure your hair is. It is exhausting, but the reason that so many women do it is because we understand the perks that come from subscribing to the beauty standards of society. And not only that, but when you are validated by society and when you are taking care of yourself in all of the ways that you can to the best of your ability, your confidence is also going to increase. And having a higher level of confidence not only makes you more attractive, but it's going to improve all of your social interactions and you are going to feel better about yourself. And in return, you are going to feel more fulfilled. So if you are not already, make sure you are doing everything within your power to a reasonable extent to look and feel your best, because looks matter. They are always going to matter, and there is nothing that we can do to change. And if you don't want to listen to me, listen to the Mensa Barbie from Oprah.
I know that this is going to rub some people up the wrong way, but I have to talk about this. Pretty privilege is a real thing, and anybody who says it doesn't exist is just spoiled, and they want attention, and they don't want to acknowledge that life is a little bit easier for them because of how they look. Let's talk about it. I didn't know growing up that I was considered pretty by people. I thought I was just an ugly little girl, nerdy girl, so I never moved through life using my looks because I didn't think they were valuable. Then I became an adult, and literally men would approach me, and women would keep telling me I look pretty, and I'm like, are you sure you're talking to me? So this is me saying from a perspective of someone who didn't know that they even had pretty privilege. But then I look at certain things in my life where I'm like, oh, I went here and I was treated better, and I didn't even realize. So for example, the one time I went, there's a restaurant that I love to go to. And then a friend of mine went with other people, and then she said to me, Labs, this restaurant sucks. And I said, you can't be real. They have the best service, da 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 da. She says, maybe they give you the best service, but we don't get the best service when we go. So I said, okay, look, come with me and let's see how it goes. They came with me, and she was like, it's night and day. Everything you're getting here, we never even got offered. And I was like, but they offer it to everybody. She said, no, they don't. And it never clicked to me, because my lived experience at that establishment is that it's the perks. I didn't even know. So it's small things like that that make your life much easier, and you're not even aware of it, because to you, that's normal, right? It's normal, and you perceive that everybody else is having that, so you don't even know it's pretty privilege. You're assuming it's the standard of the establishment until you meet people who say, no, we don't get treated like that. So all I'm trying to say is that, unfortunately, looks are a currency. You could be pretty in one place and not pretty in another place for women. Not for men. It's a different story with men. It's the currency, but in a different way. And we have to acknowledge that women who are considered pretty get treated differently. And if you're a woman with pretty privilege, I would advise you don't have to, but I would advise you to use that to also uplift other women. Instead of just acting like it doesn't exist and you're some victim because they're saying life is easier for you. Be honest, life is easier. Yes, you have other struggles, but life is easier for you when it comes to certain things. I did not know people struggled with good service at restaurants most of the time, or bouncers being mean, because I always get treated well. Right? So we have to acknowledge these things and then bring our sisters into our circle when we can. Let me know, do you experience pretty privilege? What are the privileges you have? And when did you realize that you have pretty privilege? Let's talk about it. Mwah.
One thing I would be teaching my girls is that looks matter. How you walk out of the house, how you present yourself to the world, it matters. You're treated differently when you look put together. The men you attract, the opportunities you get, usually all has something to do, not everything to do, but something to do with how you present yourself. World's fucked up, but it is what it is.